Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2005 in the Idaho Vandals Dynasty mode. And we are here with a nice big game against the UCLA Bruins, the Bruins of UCLA, of course, who are in a bit of a downward spiral right now, if you want to consider all things here. The 2-4 start to the year is a huge far cry from their 10-2 finish a couple seasons ago when they won the Pac-10 from us. So they are on a bit of a downward turn right now, because even last year they went 5-6 and finished 4-4 in conference. One of those 5 wins was of course against your Idaho Vandals, which meant that UCLA placed higher in the conference than we did, but they didn't go to a bowl game. So it's been a very tumultuous, year and a half for UCLA since winning the Pac-10, which I don't even think was the first time for them winning the Pac-10 in the sim. I think USC and UCLA have kind of exchanged it, through the first couple of seasons in this series at least. But either way, we are now back in Moscow in the Kiwi Dome once again, after getting thumped by Oregon State, getting thumped by the Beavers here, and after a couple more rough games, we're really trying to, salvage whatever we can of this season, because one more loss is going to pretty much make a bowl, I don't want to say impossible, but a 6-6 finish in this era of college football doesn't necessarily guarantee you a bowl game. So if we don't finish well enough in our conference at 6-6, then it probably isn't going to happen. And so this is a big game. That's why I included this game against UCLA, because we really need a win right here to jumpstart kind of getting back to our winning ways if we can. And this is a great start here, as we have an option play from C.R. Madison that goes for a humongous chunk of yardage here. And Stuart Malone's going to get the pitch here to extend it a little bit further. I believe that's how that went down. I think it looked like almost Stuart Malone got the pitch, but no, maybe. No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. I have to believe that Stuart Malone is the one falling behind. Yeah, I think he is. So, either way, it's a great pickup here on the ground, which we don't often see from this offense. On second 11, we're going to hand this one off to C.R. Madison. Plenty of open space up the middle of the field, and he gets a first down and inside the 10-yard line. And UCLA is already having fits. They're already going through it, man. Even though it's still very early on in the game here. Anything can happen for the Bruins. They are already, maybe getting a glimpse of their fate. Who knows? I mean, this is a huge game for both teams. I mean, at 2-4, UCLA needs to get back into the win column as much as we do. So, first and goal here, and now Washington fires one off to the middle of the end zone, and even though there's a huge hit, it is still going to be caught for a touchdown, and we're going to strike first. So, Idaho getting on the board early here with a nice touchdown. And let's see who exactly that was, if we can. It's Roger Williams. Roger Williams getting his 5th touchdown of the season here. But we are now back on offense across midfield once again. UCLA off to a slow start in this one. And it's Roger Williams again with another completion, this time on the opposite end of the field here to get inside the 30. And now the Vandals offense will continue to move once again as UCLA. A slow start is going to give us a lot of opportunity here. Even though our offense hasn't been the most potent this season, we will definitely take advantage of some opportunities early if we can, as Washington fires one off here, and I believe it's Trey Mosley who makes the catch here, and that is going to be another first down for this Idaho offense, and that should be the last play of the first quarter, if my mind is correct, if my projections are to be believed. And yes, it's the end of the first quarter, so we take an early lead over the Bruins here, but we got plenty of football left to play. You guys already know that. So, but it's 3rd and 10 now in the red zone for the Vandal offense. No one in the backfield. Washington's just going to run it himself. He sees an open running lane, it seemed open, but it closed very quickly here, and Washington could not get to the first down. So that's going to bring out Dennis in the field goal unit. The kick is up, and it is good. No wind inside of this dome to play any sort of factor. So an 80-yard drive ends up in 3 points. Unfortunate, when you drive that length of the field, you really want to score a touchdown, but we'll take a 10-0 lead over the Bruins. But now here comes UCLA as Fitzgerald is able to find an open target downfield, and that one looks like John Paul Lewis, the top receiver for UCLA, who's had over 700 yards in all of his seasons with the Bruins. But he has yet to get a touchdown in this season. So it's kind of it kind of explains the woes that UCLA's offense has had. And they have a freshman quarterback. So Dustin Fitzgerald is a freshman starting for UCLA. But on that play, it's going to go to Brendan Morrison, the running back. And UCLA has a weird running back situation. They've kind of been using two. And Morrison is on the field right now. Is kind of the less producing one of the two of them. But that seems to be how they are making their way right now. But Again, John Paul Lewis gets another completion, and that will continue UCLA's drive. And so things are going to move forward for the Bruins. On 1st and 10, Fitzgerald takes the snap. Pressure's on, but he gets rid of it in time, and that pass is cut off and intercepted in the end zone by Philip Tolbert, the top DB on this team, I think. Oh, my God, do you see that? We have empty seats. Oh, no. Oh, no, the Kiwi Dome was thinning out, guys. I'm sorry. I got distracted by our crowd finally leaving. It took so much to build that crowd here in Moscow, and now they're starting to leave. They're starting to lose faith. Is this a sign of the times for the Idaho program led by Lynch? Who knows? But we have an interception going the other way. So we're looking good so far against UCLA. We need a strong showing as Washington lays out a deep shot downfield, and that pass is going to be caught by Trey Mosley, and it's another first down. So we were moving pretty easily on UCLA's defense. I'm a little shocked at how easy things are moving right now, considering how tough things were against our last or most recent opponents. But so 1st and 10 now, just inside the 30 of UCLA. Washington going to fake the pitch. He's going to keep it himself, man. Spin move is going to get him out into open space, get a few more yards, and get the first down. And so that's more of the kind of runs that we are looking for. So Washington is definitely more of a balanced passer and scrambler. Norwood was just like pure scramble as an athlete, but Washington seems to really kind of pick and choose the times when he should be running. So, and on 3rd and 3, this time it is going to be a quick throw across the middle and barely stepping across the goal line. It's going to be another Idaho touchdown, and we're going to extend our lead over UCLA. So it's just a quick route ran, and it looks like maybe it might have been DeAndre Poole, the backup tight end, who got that catch. That would have been his 4th touchdown of the year if he did get that. So, but on a 3rd down for UCLA in our end, Philip Tolbert again, man, just having himself a great day, blocks that pass. But it's 4th and 6 now for UCLA, and they go for it on 4th down, and it is just, I don't even know what on earth that was supposed to be. Dustin Fitzgerald, man, he's having himself a day. I don't know what that was, as he manages to find a big linebacker in the middle of the field for another interception. And so now we are taking over on offense again here with just enough time left in the first half to maybe get something rolling here as the sirens are blaring. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have sirens blaring outside of my quote-unquote studio, outside of my quote-unquote office. Just my room. Either way, Washington with a huge completion downfield, and that's going to get us at least in field goal range, as we're going to blow a timeout and give Dennis a crack at it. 4 seconds. It's a little bit long for his range here, but he's still got a chance, and that one just barely sneaking through. And so we're going to take a 20-0 lead over UCLA with just 1 second left on the clock. But obviously, after the kickoff, that second would expire. So 20-0, man. So after we were getting blown out here in our own home just a little bit ago, we are now blowing somebody else out in our home. But UCLA across midfield now with the opportunity as Fitzgerald throws one, just lays one out there in the middle of the field. Diving catch had to be made, but it was made, so it's going to be a first down for the Bruins. But it quickly becomes 3rd and 7. Fitzgerald drops back here, clean pocket, and lets it go. And another athletic play from, I believe, it was that Phil Tolbert again. It might have been Dan Kramer, but either way, one of our top DBs getting a hand on the football, breaking things up here. We might get a better chance. And I think it's Dan Kramer. I think it's a 6, not a 9. So bring out the kicking team for UCLA, and they're going to see if they can knock this one through, get some points finally, and they do. So UCLA finally on the scoreboard here, and it's going to be 20-3, man. They're not out of it. It's not over till it's over. But it is 3rd and 2 heading the other way for the Vandals. And we're going to fake the handoff, and pressure's onto Washington, breaks off a tackle, still gets rid of it, has to get rid of it in a hurry, and it's not a very accurate throw. That one sails into the turf safely for UCLA, or rather, I guess for Washington. Could have been picked off. But Lynch keeping the boys on the field for a 4th and 2, and that pass is thrown to the back of nobody, and that pass is going to be incomplete. So we have a turnover on downs to our name. So despite our 20-3 lead, we still can struggle on offense and stall out. But UCLA has to give us the football back, and we drive it right back to about where we had it. And another 3rd and short situation. This time, Deion Washington is able to find Doug Nolan for a first down completion. So finally, we are able to move the football here just a little bit. So 1st and 10 now for Idaho, and Washington drops back for another pass, and he finds an opening between 2 defenders, and that one's going to be hauled in by Trey Mosley for another humongous completion, man. And Trey Mosley's he's just been that guy, just that workhorse that's been able to really churn out the yards through the air, even if his season hasn't been the most dazzling from like touchdowns and accolades and stuff. He's just always there for those deep passes, and that's good to see. So, but on a quick receiver screen too, Trey Mosley, that one's going to get him hurt. So all the praise I was just giving him, he's now hurt, and his shoulder is injured on the play. And he's at least going to have to leave for the rest of this drive, most likely. So bring up Doug Nolan, man. Next man up. So on 3rd and goal here, we're going to try and get this one in to the end zone. And Doug Nolan immediately touches the field and gets himself a touchdown, which I believe is his first of the year. I don't think he has one. As much as I'd love to praise Doug Nolan, I don't think he's done much of anything statistically. So, and here we see now Trey Mosley's going to be injured for a week. He has strained his shoulder. So he's going to be out for at least the rest of this game, and more than likely out for the next game that we play as well. So we might be missing Mr. Mosley for a little bit here and giving Doug Nolan a little bit more opportunities. So, but speaking of opportunities, man, how about Brandon Morrison getting himself an opportunity on the ground for a nice pickup? And yeah, UCLA has 2 running backs here, and we haven't seen the other one too much. Or actually, Morrison is the more producing one. I got him confused. The other one, who was the second team All Pac-10 last season, he's the one who we haven't seen much. But yeah, UCLA utilizes both because that one, Richard Westbrook is his name. He is listed higher on the depth chart than Morrison is, but Morrison, again, has been the much more productive back for UCLA. So I guess that's what they're rolling with. So on 2nd and goal now, they're going to go with Morrison again here. He's got just enough space on the outside edge to get into the end zone for a UCLA touchdown. So UCLA is finally going to score one here. The game is just about out of reach for them, but I mean, this is the start of a comeback. If you were to certainly try to call it one, this is the start of what you would call a comeback. So on the 2-point conversion here, they're going to give it to Morrison again, and he's going to get brought down, but it looks like they're going to say he's in there. I don't know. That looked a little bit short, but they're going to say enough of him cross the goal line to where that 2-point conversion is good to go. So make it 11-27. It's giving images of our game against USC just flipped. And Washington now deep shot downfield, and that pass is going to be caught by Roderick Williams, and somehow that's not going to be considered a touchdown. I don't know how Morrison's 2-point conversion was considered good, and that is not considered a touchdown. I mean, considering the weird hitbox that the end zones have in this game, I don't get it. But either way, we're going to give it to, I believe, McGraw, the backup fullback, and he's going to step into the end zone for an Idaho touchdown, and we are just going to kind of bury UCLA with one more score, and that's exactly what's going to happen. There's nothing else would happen in this game. We're going to get our 4th win of the season, as we are still just fighting for our bowl lives. We basically need to win out to really kind of sweeten the deal. I think a 7-5 finish would absolutely guarantee our track into a bowl game at the very least, which I think is just the bare minimum for this roster at this point. But missing a bowl would not be a super big shock either, but I think things would pretty much end for Lynch here if he managed to miss a bowl or lose a bowl game. So I think that's really where we're looking moving ahead right now. But this is a big win against UCLA. We really needed, it's important to beat teams, like good teams, you know what I mean? Like, that's always an important thing. But beating the teams that you should beat, that is almost just as important, I think, if not more. That's a philosophical thing. You guys can disagree with that. I wouldn't be missed if you guys disagreed with that, because I think it is very much subjective, but if you're a not very good team, beating teams that you should be able to beat, I think, is more important than being able to beat a good team. Take on and beat a good team. But we kind of need to do both right now if we want to make it back to a bowl game and kind of get on par with where we're trying to be. And Washington's game today was really what we're looking to see from him. That's really what we're looking to see out of him, and that's why I'm keeping him at starter, because I know those games are in him. I don't know if those games are in Worthington. I really just don't know if he's got those. So Trey Mosley leads the receiving corps, even though he got injured and left and didn't have a touchdown, which is kind of what I was saying. So we pick up a massive win against Cal on the road. I mean, that is a huge game. I think they were ranked a couple weeks ago, but they're kind of spiraling right now in the middle of the season. But we pick up a humongous win against Cal to get back to 5-5. So we are now 500 again. Remember, we were 3-3, a few videos ago, and now we are back to 5-5. So if we can at least win another game here, especially in conference against Arizona, we should be good, man. We should be. But that's a big if. So hope to see you guys back in Moscow when we take on the Wildcats.